Tonight, a stolen car travelling the wrong way on the M1 smashes into innocent drivers to meet his newborn baby. A Burleigh Bears player in a coma with a broken back after a tackle gone wrong. Princess Kate on her first public outing since Andrew's arrest as the royal scandal deepens. Inside the mind of Gerard Baden-Clay, what makes a killer snap? A 7 News exclusive. A British nuclear submarine arrives in an AUKUS first, but fears China's already watching. And towns cut off and motorists trapped as Queensland's outback braces for more flooding rains.
Live across Queensland, this is 7 News with Samantha Heathwood.
Good evening. A new father driving to hospital to meet his daughter for the first time has been struck by a stolen car. Police say a teenager behind the wheel was travelling on the wrong side of the motorway. Witnesses telling 7 News it's a miracle anyone survived.
A mangled mess on the Pacific motorway. In the white sedan, an Uber driver and his passenger, an off-duty paramedic. In the ute, a new father driving to hospital to meet his daughter who had just been born, all struck by a teenager, allegedly in a stolen car.
I saw this guy coming from the other way, fast, wrong side of the road, doing about 100 k's an hour.
Jason was travelling north with his family near the Cornwall Street exit at Greenslopes when he saw a black Cherry Tiggo driving towards them. It collided with a Mazda ute first and then a Toyota Camry before flipping and landing on its side in the middle lane.
Just pulled over to the left and got out to assess who was alive.
The 17-year-old was taken to the Princess Alexandra Hospital with a significant leg injury. The 3 others escaped relatively unharmed.
They're lucky. Everyone's lucky.
The owner of the Cherry Tiggo reported the vehicle stolen last Monday. They had parked here underground at the Capalaba Central Shopping Centre just before 8 a.m. When they returned to their vehicle after 5, after their shift, it was gone.
We now have adult crime, adult time in place.
The penalty for dangerous operation of a vehicle now doubled for juveniles. The outcome could have been much worse. Rachel Baxter, 7 News.
To a developing story, and charges have been laid in the investigation of a fatal traffic crash on the Bruce Highway. Live to Rachel Baxter. Rachel, police say 2 men were involved in break-ins before the crash.
Yeah, that's right, Sam. Police allege the 2 men from Redcliffe were linked to scrap metal and copper thefts that occurred at Narangba and allegedly led to a vigilante-style chase on the Bruce Highway last Tuesday night. The driver of a stolen truck, also allegedly linked to those thefts, collided head-on with 26-year-old Andre Roberts. That driver of that truck was allegedly travelling in the wrong direction. Now, Andre sadly died instantly at the scene. The driver of the truck remains in a critical condition in hospital. As for those 2 men, they have both been charged with enter premises, unlawful use of a motor vehicle and weapons offences, and they are both due to face Redcliffe Magistrates Court on March 16. Sam?
Rachel Baxter, thank you. An up-and-coming rugby league player is tonight fighting for life after a tackle gone wrong. Straight to Declan Milton on the Gold Coast. Declan, he was playing a trial match.
For the Brisbane Broncos feeder club, Sam, Burleigh Bears backline player Yazzie McLaren was just making a hit up against the Tweed Seagulls last night when he was tackled by 2 players. After contact, he had landed on his head and very sadly broke his back. He was flown to Brisbane's Princess Alexandra Hospital and is in induced coma in the intensive care unit. One of the players tackling Yazzie was immediately sent off. The other sin binned before the game was very swiftly called off. Queensland Rugby League says it will review the incident and they say they're offering all their support to Yazzie's family. He'd only just signed here at Burleigh for this year. He's a massive Brisbane Broncos fan and was really hoping this move could help him make a break into the NRL. Now, Yazzie's family asking for your love, your thoughts and your prayers as he now prepares for surgery. Sam.
Declan Milton, thank you. Well, Princess Kate has had her first public outing since the arrest of her husband's disgraced uncle, former Prince Andrew. The search of his former home, Royal Lodge, continues tonight as questions are asked about what his protection officers really knew.
On the royal family's week from hell, cue their best publicity asset, Princess Kate. A beaming smile even with her uncle-in-law on the cusp of a potential criminal charge. And a bruising loss for England in the rugby. Kate, so far the only royal not heckled with questions about Andrew since his arrest. His daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, reportedly now in crisis talks with King Charles about where to go from here.
The King, so sources have told us, will be really, really keen to ensure that they are secluded as much as possible from this and they are looked after as well.
The scandal surrounding the former prince is only deepening. Fresh emails dropped from the Epstein files suggest his royal protection officers had effectively been bouncers at a celebrity dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's New York apartment, a then convicted pedophile. 2010, the year Andrew claimed he'd severed ties.
It's inconceivable to me, I'm sad to say, that nobody saw anything.
Testimony from his protection officers will form part of a widening probe into Andrew's suspected misconduct while a UK trade envoy. He hasn't been seen since that photo, but there's been no sight of his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson since September.
Sarah Ferguson was obviously a regular guest over at Epstein's places in the United States.
Royal Lodge, the home they spent years in together, combed over by investigators for a third day. The Prince and Princess of Wales were living just kilometres from Andrew here on the Windsor estate weeks before his spectacular arrest, and they'll likely be the royal couple who will ultimately dig the family out of the mess he's left behind, stealing the monarchy through one of its toughest crises. Well, Sam, that search of Royal Lodge is heading into its fourth day with the forensic examination of this 30-room mansion to even stretch into the week. But this royal crisis is far from over. Questions are being asked over who knew what and when. The late Queen Elizabeth's near unblemished reign is being dragged through the mud over her blind spot that she had for her favourite son, and with King Charles and the future King Prince William now having scheduled trips to the US this year, there are hazards ahead. Andrew continues to ignore calls to testify at the US Congress. Sam?
Jacqueline Robson, thank you. They spent Christmas and the New Year underwater. Now sodden outback communities are bracing for another flood threat. The Weather Bureau says rain records could tumble under a weather system that's already cut off towns.
In the past 8 weeks, northwest farmers have waded through enough pain from the rain. Now the threat of even more has them nervous.
Could clean up some of the mud and the silt that's in paddocks, but it also runs the risk of just making those losses and that damage even worse.
In Cloncurry, the Weather Bureau is predicting graziers could see up to 20 millimetres a day for the next week.
So expecting those rivers will respond quite quickly to further heavy rainfall.
Depending on how the rain falls, it could be good for them.
This to a shire already flooded and isolated.
The rail line, our major highways keep getting cut all the time and isolating our communities.
Last night in the same town, a dramatic flood rescue.
2 have been extricated and on dry land in the hands of QAS. We still have 2 sitting on top of the vehicle. This water is holding steady.
They were saved by swiftwater crews 80 metres from the causeway. In Mount Isa, double the average February rainfall has seen Lake Mundara spill over for the first time since 2011. In 50 years, Marco Bracchi has only witnessed this 3 times.
It's incredible. Words can't describe how good it looks.
While at Hyde Park Station, northwest of Charters Towers, the road to the nearest town will be submerged for weeks. But the big wet is a blessing, they say, a sign of the mixed fortunes this weather can bring. Garth Burley, 7 News.
Now to Tony Auden. What's causing this next round of heavy rain?
Well, Sam, it's all thanks to a really stubborn tropical low sitting over central Australia. Here it is, not overly strong, but it is slow moving and likely to stay in that same area for up to the next 6 days, with rain and storms swirling around it. In that time, we should see widespread totals of over 100 millimetres hugging that far western border for Queensland. But some of the forecast models are going for peaks of 200 to 300 millimetres. That would lead to significant and long-lasting flooding. Now, the main catchments of concern for further rises are the Georgina, Diamantina and lower parts of the Cooper Creek down in the southwest. Sam will be back soon with the forecast.
Thank you, Tony. We have new details in the tragic kidnapping of Chris Bagzarian. Police have revealed they have crucial new evidence after finding a car used in the abduction. We can also show you inside the house where the 85-year-old was held hostage.
Crucial evidence burning on the streets of Westmead. It happened 6 days ago, but police have only just revealed now that this is directly linked to the kidnapping of Chris Bagzarian. Smouldering in the back seat of a car, another breakthrough. Carpet rolls ripped from a derelict house where the 85-year-old was held captive. The car was set alight at Westmead about 11:30 on Monday night, a 30-minute drive from the Dural house where Mr Bagzarian was tortured after being abducted from his North Ryde home on Friday the 13th. Detectives wrapping up their search of the vacant property last night, leaving no surface untouched.
Some good old-fashioned police work with boots on the ground identified that location. It was a suspicious house.
Police have spent the last 3 days here scouring this property. They know Mr Bagzarian was brought here. His DNA was found in the bathroom. But it's where his captors took him next that remains a mystery.
Detectives certain the grey Toyota Corolla stolen from Victoria last month was used to transport Mr Bagzarian. Police appealing to the public for anyone who saw the car with these number plates.
We're hopeful that we can gain more evidence to identify those responsible and also gain some information as to the location of Mr Bagzarian.
Clementine Cuneo, 7 News.
Queenslanders could soon see more homes on the market with $500 million set aside to help councils and developers build faster. The state government says the huge spend will pay off to make home ownership more achievable.
At Chambers Flat, work is starting on a wastewater treatment plant for 20,000 new homes.
Development in the fastest growing city in the state stops without this funding. It's that simple.
Which is why the state government is gifting councils $500 million to fast-track critical infrastructure like roads, water and sewerage and drive new housing projects.
Availability equals affordability. We need to unlock land right across the state.
With predictions, Brisbane house prices will soar by almost 11% this year and 9% next year, pushing the median to $1.4 million. Queensland's housing industry has welcomed this state funding but wants strings attached, insisting individual councils should be made to meet strict build targets or miss out.
If you can't measure it, then you can't manage it. We really need to see structural change across the state.
But councils insist they are not the handbrake.
Councils are approving far more dwellings than industry can build.
The opposition is accusing the government of ripping money out of social housing by selling hundreds of dwellings.
They're not interested in delivering affordable homes that everyday Queenslanders could actually afford.
The Christopher government is building 4 times more social, affordable and community housing than the Labor Party ever did in their 10 years.
As our politicians squabble, more Queenslanders are being shut out of the market. Michael Hammond, 7 News.
Donald Trump's gone a step further and announced a 15% tariff on US imports from all countries, including Australia, after the Supreme Court ruled his previous program illegal. The president announced the new tariffs online and then talked up America at the White House State Governor's dinner.
Our country is back on track. We had a horrible, horrible dead country. 1.5 years ago, we were dead. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, as said by many leaders.
The Albanese government says the tariffs are unjustified. Trade Minister Don Farrell is travelling to the States this week for talks. Beyond the tariffs, all eyes are on what the US is doing in the Middle East. Videos are emerging of American warplanes stationed at key airports in Portugal and Greece, which are within striking distance of Iran. They join aircraft carrier groups in Mediterranean and Arabian seas. Donald Trump has said he'll make up his mind on military strikes within the next 10 to 15 days. A Chinese bulk carrier has appeared off the WA coast near a highly sensitive military base in Perth. It dropped anchor just as a British nuclear submarine arrived on our shores as part of the AUKUS Pact.
The British nuclear submarine HMS Anson has just completed an 18-day transit from the UK to Western Australia, all of it underwater. When Anson surfaced off Fremantle this weekend, it would have sailed straight past the Chinese-flagged bulk carrier Yu Zhaofeng. The Chinese ship is just a couple of kilometres off the increasingly secretive and sensitive Stirling submarine base.
Protective security, both physical, visual and electronic, is incredibly important.
The Chinese have become increasingly interested in Australia's military capability, shadowing naval exercises here and abroad. Like the Russians, the Chinese are suspected of equipping civilian vessels for intelligence gathering.
You start losing the secrets to the acoustic signature of the boat or the technologies that the boat uses, and that is a very, very significant breach and vulnerability for any nation.
AUKUS is the mutual defence pact between Australia, UK and the US. HMAS Stirling is at the very heart of building Australia's own nuclear submarine capability and will be instrumental in maintaining nuclear subs from all three nations.
These fast attack nuclear-powered submarines, with their stealth, their endurance and their weapons capabilities, are the apex predators of the ocean.
And of obvious interest to our enemies. HMS Anson will be tied up at Stirling for a month. There have been questions asked in some quarters as to why the boat is here when it should be in home waters where military tensions are rising. As they are rising in our region too. Jeff Parry, 7 News.
The countdown to the NRL season is officially underway. Rohan Welsh joins us. Rohan, 7 days out and some cause for optimism with the Queensland team.
Yeah, there's been some really encouraging signs, Sam, with impressive trial wins for the Dolphins and the Titans over the weekend. Of course, the Broncos go into the year as defending premiers and competition favourites with the bookmakers, while the Cowboys left for Vegas with confidence high. That's where Jaleesa Apps is for their season opener against Newcastle.
Rohan, you'll remember last night that the Cowboys flew here into Vegas very late. Now, I'm not saying they stayed up and enjoyed the nightlife. All I'm saying is that they were not spotted in daylight hours today. So who knows, maybe they were sleeping, maybe they were just studying really hard for the game next week. But I did hear rumours of perhaps a Bucks party. Now, elsewhere, Queenslander Caleb Ponga was lapping up the city with his Knights teammates. They headed to the Vegas Strip a few hours ago for dinner and a show. Most of their exploring is done though, and they'll be hitting the gym tomorrow. Ponga's Maroons teammate Valentine Holmes flew in with his Dragons teammates. They were the last team to arrive.
You don't want to spend too much time here. We're obviously here for the main job and to get the win on Saturday week. So obviously you want to explore, get the bearings of Vegas and see what the hype's all about.
The Dragons won't have much time to explore. They'll actually hit the training paddock on Monday. The team's starting to get down to business now. The fun is almost over. Of course, they need to remember there's 2 points on the line.
Thanks, Jaleesa. Well, a major change is coming for travel to the UK. What you need to know to make sure you clear customs. A car goes up in flames, sparking a midnight grass fire emergency. Special report, the trigger that made Gerard Baden Clay snap. And the athletes chosen to lead the Olympic team at the closing ceremony.
Australia's fastest man.
Under 10 seconds for the first time and take a big win.
The Brisbane boy who blew them away and then broke down.
Even if I was told there was like a 90% chance I wouldn't be able to run again.
Lachlan Kennedy's recovery and race for Commonwealth Games glory. A 7 News special report tomorrow.
A ute has been consumed by fire in the Gold Coast hinterland overnight. The flames had already spread to surrounding grassland when firefighters arrived just before midnight. But fire crews were able to quickly extinguish the blaze before it could spread further. The blaze is being treated as suspicious. Anthony Albanese claims his legal options are limited as 11 ISIS brides prepare to return to Australia. The federal opposition insists laws need to be changed and is offering the government its support in preventing their return.
They've been a problem for federal governments since 2014. Australian citizens returning home after fighting with ISIS. Tony Abbott, Malcolm Turnbull, Scott Morrison and now Anthony Albanese, all facing the same challenge: what to do with ISIS fighters and their brides when they get here.
I don't think it's true that any fighters returned under the Morrison government.
It is true. This man was arrested at Melbourne Airport in 2021 and charged with recruiting fighters after returning from Syria.
I think the best outcome here would be for these people not to come back to Australia. The government should be pulling every lever to ensure that we don't import that risk back into our country.
But the levers are limited legally.
People are saying things that they know is not true and is not possible.
Under the Australian Passports Act, travel documents can only be denied if security agencies suspect the person might engage in harmful conduct.
There's been no advice from ASIO that the Passports Act provisions have been activated. Other than a temporary exclusion order, there isn't a legislative power to be able to stop an Australian citizen from entering Australia.
The federal government is following international law, which states that countries have an obligation to take their citizens back. As tough talk from one nation changes the political playing field.
Thank you so much.
Isabel Mullen, 7 News.
Major changes are nearly here for Australians heading to the UK. From Wednesday, travellers will need authorisation to visit or risk being stopped at the airport. But there are different rules for dual nationals, causing confusion and leading to cancelled trips.
Lucy Aylwood is counting down to her next holiday.
A bit of a Europe trip in June this year, so really excited. Probably will be for about 4 weeks.
But before she boards the plane, there's paperwork.
I need to renew my British passport.
The dual national is preparing for new travel requirements which the UK is introducing, claiming to improve security and speed up immigration checks.
At the moment, there's lots of confusion. We've seen a lot of people, unfortunately, have to cancel the trips.
From February 25th, Australians will need an ETA before travelling to the UK. It costs about $30, takes 3 days to approve, lasts for 2 years and lets you visit for up to 6 months at a time. And if you don't have one,
you won't be allowed to board the plane. Pretty simple.
Dual citizens will need a valid British or Irish passport, or you can travel using an Australian passport with a certificate of entitlement. That costs a whopping $1,100.
It lasts you for a lifetime, so you only have to do it once. And that might take between 4 and 6 weeks.
The changes could catch out some Australians who might not realise they're automatically British. Citizenship can be passed down to children born outside the UK. That means to travel you'll need a certificate of entitlement or UK passport, even if you've never held one.
British nationality is actually quite complex. If you think you might be British, go online, gov.uk.
To avoid being caught out at check-in. Georgia Holland, 7 News.
Winter Olympics gold medalist Cooper Woods and silver medalist Danielle Scott have been selected as the flag bearers for the closing ceremony in Italy. The aerial and mogul skiers were over the moon with the decision.
To be waving a flag at the Winter Olympics, that's every medal and everything and more.
We felt that love and support all along is huge, so I'm just pumped. This is going to be so fun.
It's Australia's most successful Winter Games with 6 medals won, 3 of them gold. What made him snap? A special investigation in our Kiss and Kill series. Inside wife killer Gerard Baden-Clay's psychological report. Also another setback for NASA's mission to the moon. What's behind an alarming surge in young people getting cancer? And why age is no barrier to mature Queenslanders finding a job.
Fascinated by flight.
A big hobby. It just took over my life.
A new era for Brisbane's plane spotters. Flashback 7 News coming up soon.
A psychological report into wife killer Gerard Baden-Clay compares him with some of the world's most notorious murderers. The findings are revealed in Seven's new investigative podcast, Kiss and Kill, and outlines how a relationship with a narcissist can turn deadly.
He presented as a charming real estate agent, a doting father and husband to Alison. Now we can reveal the psychological report diagnosing wife killer Gerard Baden-Clay with narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD. It examines narcissistic rage and how it escalates to murder.
Grandiose narcissists like Baden-Clay become violent when triggered by threats to their self-esteem.
The report names Ted Bundy, Anders Breivik and Man Monis as other high-profile murderers with NPD. Seven's new podcast Kiss and Kill outlines how Gerard Baden-Clay reported Alison missing on April 20, 2012, saying these were shaving cuts and these were caterpillar bites. 10 days later, the mother of his 3 children was found dumped on the banks of a creek.
It is who they are, and they are dangerous and they will remain dangerous.
The murder trial heard of Baden-Clay's multiple affairs, his trawling of swingers' sites and mounting debts. Alison had been due to attend the same real estate conference as his mistress. The court was told she had likely confronted him the night she was killed. Psychiatrists later writing, on the night of the murder, Baden-Clay developed a narcissistic rage when his wife finally challenged his fragile sense of self and he was shamed and humiliated. Narcissistic rage is a violent response to shame or exposure, and experts say it can even occur in someone who's never been violent before. In intimate partner killings, the drivers are often jealousy, money, or the desire to replace one partner with another. Baden-Clay is eligible for parole next year.
Parole is in some ways the big protection that we've got.
To listen, visit 7news.com.au/kiss and kill. Download the Listener app or wherever you get your podcasts. Katrina Blowers, 7 News.
NASA's mission to the moon has suffered a setback. The rocket may need to be rolled off the launch pad for technical repairs. An interruption in helium flow was detected despite the system performing as expected in tests. The fault in space could be catastrophic. It's put the March 7 launch date in doubt for now. The next available window is late April. More young Australians are being diagnosed with cancers once thought to affect mostly older people. Doctors say environmental factors may be to blame, as one woman shares her story in the hope it sparks change.
This is what chemotherapy looks like, one of the most powerful treatments to kill cancer, being given here to a 35-year-old woman.
Jessica, are you scared right now? Terrified. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.
A rare form of ovarian cancer, but the process to get to this treatment was painful.
I approached a few doctors who told me that I was too young for cancer.
It wasn't until being admitted to hospital a year later that doctors found a 13-kilogram tumour, the size of a watermelon. She's sharing her story, hoping other young Australians, particularly women, will speak up.
Hear us, really hear what we're saying and push for further testing, because that could be the difference between being diagnosed in stage 1 or stage 3 and 4.
Jessica's story is becoming more common. Cancer rates are increasing in young Australians. Ovarian cancer is up 30%, breast cancer 50%, and bowel cancer 71%. Increases also in prostate, pancreatic and liver cancer.
We think that there's a big impact from environmental factors, be it what people are eating, people smoking, what people are drinking, the amount of exercise they're doing.
More research is needed. For now, Jessica knows what she has to do.
Ovarian cancer picked a fight with the wrong woman.
A fight she says she won't lose. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Why age is no barrier to finding a job, the industry where mature workers are suddenly in high demand. Also, a P-plater's costly ride down a busy highway. And tortoises return to the Galapagos after 150 years. A P-plate rider on his motorcycle has allegedly been clocked going more than 60 kilometres over the speed limit in Chandler. Police say he was also lane filtering, which isn't legal on a provisional licence.
Silliness. We're trying to keep you alive, all right? That's as much as I'm going to lecture you today, all right? Hopefully that fine teaches you something.
It was a costly trip for the rider, with fines totalling more than $2,500 and a 6-month loss of licence. If you're over 50 and looking for a job, one of Australia's largest sectors wants to hear from you. The construction industry is crying out for hundreds of thousands of new apprentices, and age is no barrier.
At 45, Kieran van Bleinberg feels right at home on a construction site. But it wasn't always that way. A year ago, the former IT specialist was working in an office building, worried his use-by date was fast approaching.
I felt like AI was going to be able to do it quicker, simpler, cheaper. It was just that looming threat.
But there are no such worries here.
There's more work you can poke a stick at.
And if we think there's a critical need now, we ain't seen nothing yet.
The Master Builders Association warns Australia will soon be 300,000 construction workers short and believes mature age trainees can help fill the gap.
If you've got the right attitude and the right skills, you're going to be in very high demand.
Plus, there's money to be made. After completing his training, Kieran could start earning almost 6 figures as a qualified carpenter. And the opportunities don't end there, with a raft of apprenticeships available right away.
You're never too old to get started.
Advocates for older workers hope other industries will follow by example. Currently, 1 in 3 recruiters won't even consider employing someone over 55, forcing many to retire earlier than they intended or can even afford.
In fact, the research shows that it's intergenerational workforces that often deliver the best productivity.
We've got about 50 mature age apprentices on the books right now. We'd love to have a lot more.
And they can stay on the tools for as long as they choose.
I don't feel very mature. I still have a good time.
Jonathan Edwards, 7 News.
The Galapagos tortoise was made famous by Charles Darwin, but humans drove them to extinction in their natural habitat. 150 years on, they're being reintroduced to one of the Galapagos Islands to hopefully once again thrive in the wild and repair the damaged ecosystem. The released tortoises are still young, between 8 and 13 years old, but could eventually reach around 1.5 metres in length and live for 100 years. Too close for comfort, see the moment conservationists encounter a jungle beast. That story's just ahead on 7 News. But first, Rohan's back with Sport. Welshie, is it finally the Titans' year?
Let's hope so, Sam. There is a little bit of hype around Josh Hannay's men. Hello everyone, the league latest is next, including breaking news on Nathan Cleary's chances of playing the Broncos and David Fifita's debut for the Rabbitohs as his old teammates put 40 on the Storm and unleash a new wrecking ball for the coast. Plus, the big hits weren't just reserved for the footy or the main event at Eastern Creek, all the drama from day 3 at the Sydney 500. Back rower Arama Howe has staked an irresistible claim for inclusion in the Titans starting 13 for their season opener against the Sharks. The giant 21-year-old mixed brute force with finesse, crossing for one of 8 tries in Gold Coast shock, 42-12 demolition of the Storm.
Just how good is he?
Straight on, bursting onto it, Arama Howe. Oh, what a shot. If it's legal, it's a corker from Howe. Oh, what a delectable pass into Groot.
Arama Howe's off the bench selection statement, as good as it gets after coming on earlier than expected, with Josh Paxton fouling his HIA. The back row's not the only selection dilemma for coach Josh Hannay, with his players looking connected across the park. 8 line breaks in the 30-point win.
Crash play, yeah, they're over. Randall.
We're sticking together, getting out to our people, getting to know them and just, really play for the Gold Coast Titans community.
Keanu Kinney was courageous at the back, while halves AJ Brimson and Jaden Campbell did enough to turn an 8-point deficit into a 16-12 half-time lead.
We're working a lot this pre-season to try find the balance between us playing off the cuff and running and controlling the sides.
After the break, the resting stars were put on notice by the reserves with 28 unanswered points.
Summerton, Ilias, Harrison, dummy. Oh, what a beautiful play. That's class.
The Titans just fell short of winning the pre-season challenge, the Eels snatching that with a late double against the Roosters.
Jordan Samrani now has 2.
Former Titan David Fifita full of running in the myrtle and green.
What a statement. Dave Fifita. He just runs over them.
Cody Walker also striding out.
Oh, Walker.
First time I've had a really good pre-season in about 3 years, so looking forward to the start of the season.
Latrell Mitchell at left centre overcame an early scare that pain all Manly's in Sal's 24-point win. Nathan Cleary is looking to avoid the pain of missing the season opener against the Broncos. Penrith will contest the Grade 2 high tackle charge, risking an increased 3-week suspension. Kieran Toohey, 7 News.
Well, the Cowboys have kept a low profile on day one in Vegas. Their opening round rivals, the Knights, are soaking up Sin City. Newcastle ready to unveil star signing Dylan Brown in a bid to take the playmaking pressure off Kalen Ponga.
One of the world's most famous casinos, the perfect photo spot for the Knights' big money men, hoping to hit the jackpot in Las Vegas. Kalen Ponga, Dylan Brown and teammates played tourists in their first days on the Vegas Strip. Next week's Cowboys clash, far from mind for now. Same for the Bulldogs. Another night on the town. First stop, the monumental Vegas Sphere, to watch one of the world's greatest ever bands, the Eagles. The Dragons yet to go full tourist mode, the last team to arrive in Vegas.
Had it kind of marked on the calendar that I wanted to get back healthy and fit for it, and to play at obviously a stadium like that, the Allegiant Stadium, is going to be pretty fun.
A full circle moment for Valentine Holmes, back in the US 7 years after ending his NFL stint with the New York Jets.
Got a bit of a taste for it, but this next weekend will be pretty fun. To be here, in one of the most popular cities in the world, to play the game we love and the game that most of Australia supports is, it's going to be exciting.
The Vegas veterans full of advice for the first timers.
Just enjoy the week. Such a sensational experience to be here. So I think just taking it all on board. Obviously, the town's got a lot to offer, but we've got to remember we're here for business as well.
I think Guppo's been here for not for footy purposes, other things.
Next Sunday's clash is the first proper test for new halves combination Daniel Atkinson and Kyle Flanagan. The Dragons hoping they can finally fix the problem area.
I see them having a really good combination. Kyle's very calm. Acco really wants to take the game on, so I reckon in the future they could be a very sensational pairing.
First, time to embrace the fun of Sin City. Flano laid down the law for tonight?
Yeah, definitely, but he's leading from the front too.
In Las Vegas, Jaleesa Rapps, 7 News.
Suns vice-captain Tuke Miller has lauded the influence of star recruit Christian Petrarca on the squad as they look to build on last year's maiden finals berth with his added touch of class. Petrarca was a popular figure at their Carrara fan day.
Yeah, he's been awesome, mate. He brings a lot of leadership and a great character. Everyone knows how he can play, so that was a given. But I think his ability to kind of blend into the group and just do as we do, I think has been the biggest part.
The Suns are confident their trial flogging by St Kilda was just a blip. Well, any fears Brock Feeney would have been haunted by last year's grand final heartbreak have been well and truly extinguished. The Gold Coast ace making an emphatic statement in a wet and wild climax to the Sydney 500.
It took only the second race of the first weekend for the showdown supercars fans have been waiting for since last year's grand final controversy.
Here comes Feeney on wood. We've been talking it up.
A penny for the thoughts of Ryan Wood when Brock Feeney flashed in his rearview mirror.
They're going to bump panels again, are they? Feeney. Oh, that's on.
Both survived to fight another day as Anton De Pasquale saluted from pole to flag. The Sunday session at Eastern Creek, starting with a ute full of drama in the curtain raisers.
That is one. Oh, wow. That's big. Oh, wow. Let's hope he's okay. That is big impact.
After claiming pole for race 3, Feeney had to hold off a bullish Kai Allen to reap the rewards.
But they'll go side by side and more contact through the mid-corner.
Clear air crucial out front. With drama aplenty before the rain even arrived. James Golding having to limp into pit lane.
Hopefully not roll across the track at the exit of turn 11.
It did, forcing the safety car out just as the heavens opened, allowing Allen a second crack at Feeney on the restart.
This is going to be an incredible move. Kai Allen, I don't believe it, they touch again.
A double blow for the Red Bulls as De Pasquale and Will Brown clashed.
Absolutely nailed that car in the right rear.
But Feeney pounced on Allen's slip-up to resume control and claim his second win of the weekend and shared the early championship lead with Matt Payne.
As Feeney is back in a big way in 2026.
Round 2's in Melbourne in a fortnight.
Yeah, great weekend in the supercars, Sam. Big weekend of sport.
Massive weekend. Thank you, Rohan. Well, a conservationist has been reminded how unpredictable the wild is. He was on a boat in South Africa's Kruger National Park when a hippo flipped the vessel. He somehow scrambled on top of the upturned hull and wasn't injured. All eyes on the sky, a look back at Brisbane's fascination with flight, plus welcoming in a new era for plane spotters.
And I'll keep an eye on the sky to see what our weather will do this week, the forecast and latest warnings out west after the break.
Brisbane Airport is Queensland's gateway to the world, and for some people, watching planes take off and land is an obsession. Plane spotters are about to get a brand new facility, and tonight in Flashback, we look back at the fascination with flight.
Since planes started landing in a paddock at Eagle Farm, people have turned out to watch them, although wet weather forced Bert Hinkler to land at the racetrack in 1928.
Hustling Hinkler up in the sky.
Just look at those crowds.
He's flying high.
It was a bigger frenzy when Brisbane-born Charles Kingsford Smith landed after crossing the Pacific. Jump forward to 1954, when the Navy performed a demonstration of its new rescue helicopter. Crowds gathered at the airport and the Ekka. Even when aircraft became commonplace, crowds would turn up for who was on board.
David Cassidy! Yeah, come on!
Like the Governor-General, William Sidney, in 1962, or this special arrival 2 years later. The Beatles arrived at midnight to 8,000 screaming fans, but not everyone was happy, some throwing eggs.
And if you get the chance, would you throw the eggs and tomatoes back?
If I had the chance. Yeah, I'd definitely have a go.
In '66, Air Force One touched down for a visit by LBJ.
As President and Mrs. Johnson say goodbye, the children of Brisbane give them a special farewell.
In '72, the Bee Gees arrived at Brisbane Airport. A homecoming for the boys who grew up nearby at Crib Island, and fans got close enough for autographs. That same year, massive crowds gathered to see the first jumbo jet land in Brisbane.
The runway was long enough, in fact it's long enough for the aircraft at all up weight.
It was a Sunday, and families got a chance to tour the Queen of the Sky.
I wish that I could fly into the sky so very high.
When the new airport opened in 1988, plane spotters like Lloyd Fox found a front row seat to runway action at Acacia Street.
Coming out here, about 5,500 times I've worked out since I started riding my bike out. Big hobby, you know, it just took over my life.
For each aviation milestone, they arrived with ladders and cameras, like the Concorde in '96.
They were supersonic, you know what I mean? They look like a fighter jet.
The first A380.
Smell that gas.
The final Qantas Jumbo, and at the G20, a plane spotter's smorgasbord.
Most have waited a lifetime to see this many aircraft in one place.
But tomorrow, the plane spotters area will close to make way for something new.
It's going to bring people much closer to the action and also higher.
The new viewing position will feature a piece of aviation history.
The tail of an F-28 passenger jet.
A fitting gift to aviation fans.
Should be really, really good for us plane spotters.
To mark the airport's 100th birthday.
Weather now, Tony. Some more wet weather returning this week.
Yes, Sam, that'll be in the form of showers for the southeast, while Western Queensland is in for another potential round of significant flooding. More on that in a moment, but first let's enjoy a little bit more of the clear skies over the weekend. This shot from just before sunrise from Wellington Point Pier. Then a mostly sunny day with the odd rogue shower here and there. 20 overnight, a top of 28 degrees for the Redlands. Zooming out, more showers along the tropical coast and storms as well, but the main focus is out west with a slow-moving low out over the Northern Territory. The only thing more dangerous than a strong weather system is a slow-moving weather system, and this one is set to hang around for the next 6 days, providing that focal point for heavy rain and storms. In that time, it should bring a swathe of rain totals over 100 millimetres to a large part of Western Queensland, with smaller peaks possible up to 200 to 300 millimetres. The land there is flat and not equipped to deal with that amount of rain, so significant and long-lasting flooding is a threat. A severe weather warning is current, including Birdsville, with flood watches current for a number of catchments, and that's on top of widespread riverine flooding already across much of Western Queensland. Now, around the capitals tomorrow, a little bit quieter interstate. Cloudy but dry in Sydney, tracking for 30 degrees. For northern Queensland, a shower or two in Mackay, then storms peaking in the afternoon around Cairns and Townsville. Heading south, the heaviest rain and storms keep going in the far west, just stretching across towards Longreach, then just an isolated shower for parts of the coast and ranges. In the southeast, showers become a bit more frequent, most likely on the coast early, then pushing further inland from late morning into the afternoon. Temperatures steady with today, tops of 29 by the Bayside. Oxley, that little bit hotter on 31 degrees. Boaties, easterly winds on Moreton Bay, below 10 knots early, then a little stronger into the afternoon. So in Brisbane, the highest chance of a shower from late morning through lunchtime. Pack a brolly if you're risk averse, 22 up to 30 degrees. And while we're near the end of summer, our UV is still extreme. Remember to protect yourself from the sun if you are out in the elements, especially between about 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Looking ahead, not much change on Tuesday and Wednesday. The odd passing shower, tops around 30 degrees. The same in Ipswich, still dry most of the time. Then those showers start picking up a bit further on Thursday and Friday. Also a bump in wet weather on the Gold Coast to finish the week. It could even feel more like steady rain rather than showers at times. And on the Sunshine Coast, wettest on Thursday and Friday. That should start to ease back a little bit into next weekend. And Sam, Rohan, I know you're already looking ahead and planning that far out.
Yeah, when I'm going to do the washing.
Exactly.
Thanks, Tony. Well, that's all from us this Sunday. Thanks for your company. We'll have updates throughout the evening. But for now, from all the team, have a good night.